Yesterday, many small YouTube channels received an email telling them that they were going to lose all access to monetization unless they had at least 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 viewer hours. One of my sub-channels was hit by this. I got a notification saying that it was no longer eligible for the partner program, was going to lose all benefits. And that includes Super Chat. This is just another symptom in the problem that is YouTube. Okay, YouTube is overall a very, very great platform. It's fantastic. I'm on YouTube right now talking to you. So net positive. But there seems to be, time and time again, problems with YouTube that are negatively impacting creators. Admittedly, I don't think this is the worst problem in the world, but this is why I'm going to get into how to make it work on YouTube and exactly what you saw yesterday if you're watching my channel. Yesterday was the first time I have ever done what's called an advertorial, right? It's a mix between a news story and promoting a sponsor. Very few sponsors want to be involved in news. And we hear time and time again, in fact, it's part of YouTube's monetization policy that news is subject to demonetization because people don't want to, look, advertisers don't want to market their toothpaste or whatever on a channel talking about really, really bad things, right? We deal with issues of war, conflict, death, and even sexual assault when you talk about news. And what advertiser wants their product to appear before that? So when I got approached with the opportunity to do a promo for Virtual Shield, I was extremely grateful. Let me explain something. I've been hit up by a bunch of companies. This is not the first company to hit me up. But some of these are like mobile games. One of them, there's like a gambling website that wanted me to do a demonstration on how you guys watching my channel could go gamble. And I turned all of these down. But there's a few problems. YouTube has consistently been demonetizing channels, and this month hit me pretty hard. Not only has demonetization been really bad, but even the videos that aren't being demonetized are seeing, I'm getting like 50%, and I have no idea why, 50% revenue. Patreon has consistently made mistakes, resulting in people flat out leaving the platform without saying anything to me. Many people hit me up and say, hey man, sorry, I can't support you on here, I wish you had something else. So I've set up two alternatives, Minds and PayPal. But unfortunately, many of the people will just abruptly leave, and then I see a message in my back end on Patreon saying things like, I don't like Jack Conte, or I don't like Patreon. It is extremely, I guess it's stressful when you don't know exactly where your income is coming from. And now that we're seeing YouTube once again taking a step to take away monetization from smaller channels, it seems like the future we're walking towards is where they're going to be removing, for the most part, a lot of the partner program. Now, one of the theories I have is that YouTube is trying to restrict supply because demand isn't moving. There's only so many companies that need to advertise. And if they're advertising on a bunch of just channels all across the board, they're spread super thin, and it's likely they're not getting a good return on their investment. They're probably spending 1 cent per view and then seeing nothing. You also have a problem with bots. A lot of these smaller channels that aren't real creators, will send bot traffic to advertisers, and then Google has to algorithmically sort out which are real and which aren't. And these bot farms are constantly trying to find a way to bypass YouTube's security, resulting in people losing money, a lot of money. So, in my opinion, I think one of the big things that YouTube is doing is that in order to drive the price up and get people more return for their advertising, they're just going to wipe out smaller channels, okay? I don't think this is the biggest problem in the world, and if you were hit by this, I think, it sucks. It's discouraging. But don't lose hope, because honestly, there's a bright side to it. Now you can start making videos and not worry about how many views you're going to get or if people are going to be turned off by ads. Just make content you think is good. And if people like it, your audience will grow. So I don't think this is the end of steps YouTube is going to take to slowly cut off these smaller channels. And I think eventually it might even hit channels like mine. My channel, I believe, is like the top 40,000th channel, okay? By not the largest channel in the world, but relatively, it's a good size, right? It's a lot of people call these channels small, between like 100 and 500. Like, oh, it's a small channel. But in reality, there's tens of millions of channels, and if you're in the top 40,000, that's in the top percentile. And it's possible to start making a living once you have around this many viewers. Unfortunately, with YouTube continually taking steps in this direction, it's freaky and it's stressful. And with Patreon screwing up numerous times, my Patreon is down something like 30 or 40% from last year, or I should say from like 7 months ago. Like I mentioned, I've turned down so many sponsorship opportunities because I just don't think it makes sense. Like, there's no way I'm going to come on here and say, hey guys, why don't you play this, online gambling site? Why would I do that? It has nothing to do with the work that I do. In fact, I've had people offer direct sponsorships for really weird programs that pay a lot of money, but I've also turned them down because, unfortunately, their product just doesn't make sense. I could easily make advertorials, commercials, and take sponsorships from companies that are willing to pay $10,000, $20,000, and I don't do it because what's the point of being on YouTube if you're just going to start promoting things that literally have nothing to do with the work you do? Here's why I really like Virtual Shield, okay? And this is not technically a sponsor video, though I will say that Virtual Shield is currently sponsoring my channel. I don't know if it's a permanent thing, maybe it's temporary, we don't really know. All I know is that I got approached with an opportunity to teach you guys how to use a VPN, which I really believe in. There's no script. Nobody told me, like, you have to say these things. They were like, hey man, we'd love it if you got people to sign up, we'll give you a promo code. And I was like, dude, that's actually really cool. I use VPNs when I travel all the time. It's a great tool. There's a layer of security. I know a lot of people are concerned about being truly secure on the internet, and I don't think you could ever be truly secure. But it's all about layers, and a VPN is a layer. It also allows you, me personally, when I'm streaming Netflix, HBO Go, Hulu, or whatever, Amazon, and I'm overseas, I have to use a VPN. And there's some other things, like when I'm searching for travel deals, for whatever reason, certain sites are tracking you, and then if you put on a VPN, they think you're someone else, and then the prices might actually go down. So there's a lot of benefits. Most importantly, I grew up in the hacker community, so when I got approached with the opportunity to do an advertorial for a VPN, I was like, that is right on par with what I do and the kinds of things that I talk about. And it was opportune because we just heard what happened in Iran. The use of VPNs are exploding because the government's trying to censor certain websites. And then you have the story about Obama, the press thing with Trump calling him the top global press oppressor, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. And I thought this is another good example to talk about how they were able to use metadata, which VPNs can help protect you. I don't want to make it seem like you're invincible by using any of these programs, but it can help to a certain degree. And so it's frustrating because when demonetization hits, I have so many people saying, this is not fair, news channels are being demonetized, YouTube is censoring people. I have had so many people flat out say this is economic censorship. In fact, when my interview with Birgitta, former member of WikiLeaks, went up, it was demonetized, and my penis museum video wasn't. I thought it was kind of funny, it's also kind of sad, but WikiLeaks even tweeted out calling it economic censorship. I get a bunch of people saying, dude, you need to find your own sponsors. And I did. So I have this one for now, and it might not work out. I don't really know. I will admit, a lot of people said that they didn't realize it was advertorial. Some people were calling it a commercial. It was not. I don't think commercial is fair because I think the first 7 minutes were literally just talking about issues, and then the last 6 were showing you how to use a VPN, which honestly I've talked about VPNs in the past and how to use them, so it seemed like a win-win-win. But I apologize if I didn't make it clear. I will make sure that if I do any videos in the future that are sponsored, I will put in big letters sponsor video, or I think there's something on YouTube. Someone told me about this yesterday because, look, I gotta be honest, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, but someone mentioned there's some kind of check mark or something you can add that says, includes like sponsor content or something. I'll make sure I do that. And I don't know if this video technically qualifies because I'm just trying to explain, but I will put in the description of this video that I guess I'll try to explain what the goal of this video is. And ultimately, I hope you all realize that if we want to compete with the mainstream media, right? I used to work for the mainstream media. If we want to compete with them, revenue is important. I can't tell you how much money I made working for some of these companies. No, I literally can't tell you. There's like NDAs about like salary and stuff. But it was a lot of money. And I will also tell you that I have taken a massive pay cut to go independent. And it's scary. I don't know what my revenue is going to be like every month. It fluctuates. And some months I'm like, okay, no traveling this month because the revenue wasn't there. January has proven to be pretty bad so far on YouTube. My revenues are going to be way down, way down. And so this has been an excellent opportunity to talk about a service that I think is actually a good service. Using a VPN makes a lot of sense. And it's also an opportunity for me to generate revenue so that I can continue doing my work. So I hope you all appreciate Virtual Shield as much as I do, because they're helping me do this work to a degree that a lot of people aren't. And there are a lot of people who are trying to make sure I can't do this work. one of the most important things I'm trying to accomplish. I want to set the news cycle. When I went to Sweden last year, it was because Donald Trump said something. It was because the mainstream media started criticizing him for it. I was just chasing after a cycle that someone else decided was important. How do we get to the point where alternative media can make the news and then mainstream media follows? And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to hire someone to research. I want to be able to hire someone to investigate. And I want to be able to go and do documentaries and on-the-ground reporting that in response to my story, the New York Times comes out and says, this is the news we need to talk about from these guys. But we have to be realistic. When an opportunity comes along for a service that actually makes sense, it's something that I think many of you would be interested in, I'm absolutely going to take it because I really do think it's beneficial. And it's beneficial to the company because more people learn about their product. It's beneficial to you because you use the product and you get a discount. And it's beneficial to me because this is a company who's willing to sponsor my work. And so I feel like it's a win-win-win. I guess I'll just say, if it wasn't clear, again, I'll do my best to make sure it's clear from now on. I don't even know if there's going to be a lot of videos like this. It might be like 1 or 2 a month. I don't really know. And I'm going to end by giving a shout out to my sponsor. If you've made it this far, guys, seriously, you can go to virtualshield.com/Timcast, and using the promo code Timcast, you'll get 20% off. I think I explained VPNs a bit, but I'm going to do the spiel. It's, VPNs can provide you with security. It's a certain degree of security. I don't want you to think that you're bulletproof, but it's a layer of security it's pretty simple and easy to use. It can help you get cheaper deals on hotels and things like that. It's circumstantial. And if you ever need to travel and you want to stream unrestricted, this VPNs can also help you bypass governmental restrictions. So certain governments have been restricting videos. It just makes sense. So after saying that, I will make sure that in the description, I'm going to lay out exactly what this video is about. It's a hybrid of me just trying to explain what yesterday was, because there were some concerns, but I am grateful that the overwhelming majority of people said that it was great to see that I was getting a sponsor, because that means I can continue to do my work. So I really appreciate all of you that are willing to hang out and listen to what I have to say. And if you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at Timcast. You can support my work by going to timcast.com/donate. Just because I have the one sponsor doesn't mean I don't need your support. One thing you need to realize between me and other YouTubers is that I'm actually traveling all the time, and it's absurdly expensive to try and be on the ground in so many places. It's been winter, so I've been doing a lot of more videos like this, but when it gets warmer, I'm going to be traveling more. I'm actually going to Davos in a couple days. So again, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.